We continue our work at the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. I invite to the floor Colonel Andriy Lysenko, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesperson on ATO-related issues. Good morning, dear colleagues. The situation in the region of the ATO remains the same tense. The occupants adhere to tactics of regular shelling of the Ukrainian positions, towns and villages, including from heavy weaponry, regardless of the time of the day. Now, in more details about the development of events along the front line. Lugansk sector, the main district of the hostilities are Popasnyansk district and the sector from Krymsk to Novotushkivsk. In both districts, the enemy made powerful mortar shelling and repeatedly opened fire toward the ATO forces. Also, there were one case of ceasefire violation by the enemy in Lubachevo, Shasta, and Stanitsa, Lugansk. Totally, over the 24 hours, Lugansk sector saw 15 enemy shellings, a third of which was from heavy weaponry. In Donetsk sector, there were no calm sections of the front line, excluding the northern territory of Gorlivka. The militants opened active fire along the whole front line, and they were most active at Svetlogarska and near Avdiivka. On these sections, the enemy actively used heavy weaponry and launched about 60 mortars. In Avdiivka, such a case of shelling wounded a local resident, and 2 houses and a car were damaged. In other districts along the front line, heavy weaponry wasn't used by the militants, but armed provocations on the behalf of adversary happened both at day and at night. Totally, Donetsk sector saw 15 enemy shellings, including 5 from heavy weaponry. Mariupol sector. Immediately after the midnight, Russian occupational troops from Dokuchayevsk made a regular shelling from 152mm artillery upon our rear district near town of Olhinka, after which 4 private houses were damaged. After this, hostilities were transferred to the south. A sector of the front line from Chumarlik to Shirokino, and they lasted till the end of the last 24 hours. The enemy shelled our positions from small weapons practically the whole 24 hours. And in Talakivka and Vodyany, snipers of the enemy were active. Totally 22 enemy shellings were recorded in Mariupol sector, including 2 with the use of heavy weaponry. Over the last 24 hours, after the hostilities, 1 Ukrainian serviceman was killed and 7 were wounded. Our hearts go to the relatives of the killed servicemen. Another former militant used the program of the SBU. You are waited at home, and he repented. It was established in 2014. A resident of Lysychansk, affected by the enemy propaganda, entered the illegal armed groups and helped the militants to establish checkpoints, and bore duty on them. After that, the man realized what mistake he made when he saw how the militants robbed the local residents, and lack of moral, their cruelty, and desire to enrichment of the heads of the occupants. When he left the illegal armed group, the man started to hide, but finally he dared to address SBU. Starobylsky District Court of Lugansk region released the former militant from criminal responsibility. In Kiev region, 2-day military training, Movement 100 rainfall was accomplished. The campaign was attended about 500 persons. According to the training conditions, the staff was distributed by small groups, isolated groups that performed tasks for organizing the protection of the specified objects, patrolling communications, detecting and destroying intelligence and subversive groups of the adversary. Do you have any questions? Dear Colonel, Mr. Connell, please, from what region come one killed and two wounded? One killed, two wounded from Lugansk, two wounded from Avdiivka, Svetlodarsk, one wounded after the landmine, from the landmine, and two wounded from the shelling in Vojany. If you don't have any more questions, then thank you.